we finally ticked off yet another bucket list cruise, Canada and New England in the fall with Holland America Line, sailing from the cobbled charm of Quebec City to the history-soaked birthplace of modern America, Boston. Expect lobster rolls, lighthouses, iconic ports like Charlottetown, and legendary destinations like Peggy's Cove. Whether you're planning your own fall cruise or just here for travel inspiration, this vlog is your front row seat to one of the most beautiful itineraries on the continent. Let's go! For nearly 15 years, or in cruise terms approximately 3,000 burgers at dive-in, a Canada and New England fall sailing has sat patiently on our travel wish list. Tempting, but elusive. When we were invited to join MS Zuiderdam for a week-long jaunt from Quebec City to Boston at the end of September, we didn't hesitate. The answer was a resounding yes. We'd just disembarked from a Viking cruise on the Great Lakes, a fabulous voyage that ended in Toronto, video already on our channel. So we took the opportunity to linger a few days exploring both Toronto and Montreal, video release date to be confirmed. Then we boarded the Via Rail train bound for Quebec City, a scenic and civilised way to arrive in style. Assuming style involves a G&T in a plastic cup, well, it was my birthday, and trying to film the scenery without getting our reflection ghosting the view. Luckily, Zuiderdam was docked just close enough to our hotel that we could walk, bags clattering over the uneven pavements and excitement levels high. Embarkation was refreshingly painless. No queues, no drama, no mysterious custom forms to decipher. Just a short stroll and suddenly we were on board. We were so ready for this. And just like that, we're in a corridor on deck 5, going to find our room 5024. Here we are. And we've got keys. Keys are inside.
Right, let's have a look.
Right, here we go, here we go. Welcome to our home for the week. Oh, very nice.
Oh, we have cookies.
Have we? Look at those.
Nice.
And champagne.
Cookies and champagne.
Oh, we'll be breaking it. And that. The alien creature we've got. With some fruit. That's beautiful though, look at that. Of course, the first thing you do when you're on a Holland America ship is have lunch at the dive-in. Or when you're at the dive-in, they give you this little thing, which means you can go back and sit down and it will buzz and flash, I think, when your order is ready. Come on, buzz! Buzz, buzz, buzz! Buzz! Please! Oh, yes! Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Holiday begins here, Helen. Since we had the luxury of an overnight in Quebec, we used the rest of the day to ease into cruise mode, which for us means unpacking at a leisurely pace, bubbly in hand, of course, and getting a head start on laundry. Yes, laundry. Just as a side note, another thing we normally do when we come on Holland America is purchase the laundry package, because it's very good value for what you get.
Exceptional value.
Exceptional value and convenience. So we've left out, because we've been in Canada for 5 days in between cruises, we've got a couple of bags of washing, and we'll put one out now because that's the beauty of it. You just leave it to them. And also, we made short work of the cookies.
Oh, they were delicious. It's been bad. I mean, we got on board and the first thing we did was had a dive-in burger and fries.
Yeah. And
then
we
cracked open some champagne.
Yeah.
And ate a cookie.
Yeah. It's been one of those days, hasn't it? It's been one of those days. In the meantime, we've got this little card. I don't think I've seen that before, but it's the Mariner Society, and we're happy to welcome you back on board. And, got a free Mariner cocktail. I think we need to go and sample that one, don't you? Shall we go and do that?
Let's go. We're going to the ocean bar.
Well, let's do that, shall we?
Okay.
Okay, let's go. Calming, beautiful to look at, and with a touch of class. Yes, this describes not only Helen, but also the Ocean Bar, where we redeemed our voucher and discussed what tomorrow would look like. And it would look very much like Quebec, because we were overnighting here. Ah, Quebec, the land of cobblestones, croissants and croque-monsieurs. It's the only place in North America where you'll find a 17th century walled city, a hotel that looks like a Disney castle, and people who can argue about politics and cheese with equal passion. With our ship not sailing until late afternoon, we bussed into Quebec City and promptly ditched modern transport in favour of the old-fashioned kind, our feet. First stop, breakfast in a snug little cafe tucked into the cobbled heart of the old town, where the pastries drew you in like flaky sirens, the coffee was reassuringly strong, and the French slightly faster than Helen's Duolingo tuition could handle. Oh, look at that. 2 croque-monsieurs coming right up. 2 coffees. Oh, an absolutely delicious croque-monsieur. Delicious. Right, let's do some exploring. Quebec City's old town is steeped in history. Founded in 1608 by Samuel de Champlain, explorer, cartographer and owner of an excellent moustache, it became the capital of New France and a bustling hub for trade, governance and, one assumes, arguments about fur prices. The city's towering fortifications weren't just decorative, they were built to keep out the British. Spoiler, it didn't work. In 1759, the brief but consequential Battle of the Plains of Abraham, it lasted about 15 minutes, literally, saw the British win control, and by 1763 Quebec was British-owned, but stubbornly French in culture, language and culinary superiority. Today, Old Quebec is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and deservedly so. Its cobblestone alleys and 17th century buildings look like a film set they forgot to pack up. Let's take a quick tour, shall we? Old Quebec, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the only walled city north of Mexico. It's got cobblestone streets, horse-drawn carriages, and a general sense that you've wandered into a historical drama that features the Breakneck Stairs, the oldest stairway in Quebec City, dating all the way back to 1660. The name Breakneck doesn't come from a long history of tourists tumbling to their doom, although one assumes at least a few have slipped while trying to photograph the perfect angle. Instead, it's a dramatic nod to the very steep incline, and perhaps the casual 17th century attitude towards personal injury. It's the kind of name you'd get from a visionary colonial town planner who liked to spice up the city map with a hint of mortal peril in readiness for tourism 300 years later. These are at the end of the Quartier Petit Champlain, an impossibly charming neighbourhood packed with boutique shops, galleries and cafes. The Quartier Petit Champlain runs alongside and beneath the Terrasse Dufferin. This wide boardwalk, built in 1859, offers unbeatable views of the St. Lawrence River and is perfect for leisurely strolls, spontaneous selfies and dodging buskers. Along the terrace you'll see the Chateau Frontenac. Perched atop Cape Diamond like a French-Canadian crown jewel, the Chateau Frontenac isn't just Quebec City's most iconic building, it's one of the most photographed hotels in the world. And no, that's not travel blogger hyperbole. It genuinely looks like Disney designed it after spending a weekend in the Loire Valley drinking local wine. Lastly, if your legs have held out, the Citadel of Quebec, an active military installation and home to Canada's Royal 22nd Regiment, the only French-speaking regular force in the Canadian Army. If you enjoy cannons, angular walls and dramatic views, you're in for a treat. And that's about all we had time for before sail away. Oh, and if you were wondering, those giant red baby-esque inflatables are called lead tourists. Created by artist Aidan Zareski, part of his internationally exhibited Bigfoot Family series. They symbolise humanity's universal connection to the earth and to each other. Well, that's what you can now pompously say when another confused tourist asks you what they are. Let's get back to the ship. It's nearly sail away time. Well, good evening. The most beautiful sail away down the St. Lawrence River. It was Gala Nights, so we dusted off our glad rags and made our way to the Ocean Bar. There we sipped cocktails to the smooth sounds of live jazz, feeling altogether more sophisticated than usual, although the second martini may have slightly diminished our sophisticated facades. Suitably jazzed and slightly tipsy, we glided into the dining room for the gala dinner, a multi-course affair enjoyed with a kind of decadence only achievable when someone else is doing the dishes.
Look at that for a Caesar salad. That looks amazing. Got a whole pot of anchovies there. That looks really good as well. That looks great, doesn't it? Tenderloin. I really didn't expect it to be that big. Oh, that's a proper gala evening meal, that is. What have you got there?
The sole.
The sole. That looks really good as well. My chocolate mousse has turned up and it's shaped like an eagle's head. Strange, but true. Very Canadian. And you've got a creme brulee that's shaped like a creme brulee.
Post-dinner, we popped into the world stage for the evening's entertainment, a high-energy diva show celebrating iconic female vocalists through the decades. Think dramatic dancers, powerhouse vocals, and enough sequins to require sunglasses. Then, like true cruise lightweights, we called it a night, adopting a stray elephant we took in as one of our own and called him Roger. Well, today is a sea day. We are cruising the Gulf of St. Lawrence on the way to Prince Edward Island. And as it's the only sea day of the voyage, let's see what activities are going on around the ship, shall we? Before our New England Brunch. And in true Holland America fashion, when there's a sea day, we have a bit of a sail on. Put some tables out. And I've got to say, Holland America are the masters of selling merch and stuff to willing passengers, I must admit. There's always a buyer. Love a bit of pickleball, what about you? Today is perfect for it, actually. Sun is out, it's not too warm. Now, that's quite surprising. The Seaview pool at the back is virtually empty. Oh, I didn't expect that, I've got to say. Maybe it is a little bit nippy. We've got a dance class going on in the Rolling Stone Lounge. Let's take a quick look. I'm right at the back. And they've got a presentation about Canada. And Canada, what Canada is and what Canada produces. And finally, up in the art studio here, we have here an origami class. It's a really nice little area, actually. And there we have it, our little tour on a sea day. Now, let's get down to that New England brunch. Well, here we are at the brunch, New England Brunch. I love Holland America's brunches. Got a sweet selection. And, oh, that looks good, a Greek yogurt parfait. And then the savoury selection, oh, looks really good. And then, ta-da, the Boston cream pie. Well, I was going to do some vlogging this afternoon, but I think I'm just going to have a kip instead. Sorry, folks. come back from lunch and our laundry is here. Look at that.
That's amazing.
That literally has been probably about less than 18 hours. Laundry was neatly pressed by laundry attendant. The aforementioned brunch-induced afternoon nap gently morphed into early evening, at which point we rallied for another dressy night on board. Well, dressy evening part 2 is on. Shall we go?
I'll put a dress on this evening as well.
Very dressy. Maybe I should put a dress on. Should I?
I've seen your legs. No, don't do that.
We kicked things off with a pre-dinner drink in the ever-so-stylish gallery bar, a space that feels like you're enjoying a cocktail in the middle of the summer exhibition at the Royal Academy in London, but with added sea views and a casino next door. Next stop, the theatre for Breton Thunder, a Celtic band performing traditional music from the region. Fiddles, drums and foot-stomping joy. They were absolutely brilliant. They were so good, in fact, that we were genuinely disappointed to slip out early for our dinner reservation at Canaletto, Holland America's Italian restaurant tucked neatly into the Lido. Welcome to Canaletto. This is where the calories start mounting up really quickly. So you've got the Canaletto salad.
Canaletto salad, so it's like the house salad.
And I've got the meatballs. And they look great. How's your salad, hun?
It's delicious.
Is it?
The gorgonzola is gorgeous.
So here's the mains. You've got the beef short rib.
Yeah.
Mine's the ossobuco. And I've got a tiny little, first time I think I've been given this, little spoon for the bone marrow. So that's interesting. And the meat here just falls off this bone. And the risotto is delicious. So Helen's got the cheesecake. Don't know where she's going to put it.
No, I've got no idea where I'm going to put it.
And I've got the 3 ice creams. And again, I don't know where I'm going to put that either. Might put it in my jacket pocket and take it back to the room. Have it tomorrow morning. Well, good morning and welcome to Charlottetown on Prince Edward Island. Captain opened up the bow this morning for a scenic sailing, but the weather's been very, very windy, and as you can see, there's nobody here, just me. Nonetheless, I'm here to show you lovely people the sailing to Charlottetown. Let's have a look, shall we? And then we're going to go and get a coffee, I think, because it's too cold. Charlottetown, here we come. Side by side, which is the prettier? Leave us a comment. I know which one I think is the prettiest, but let us know. It was late morning when we headed ashore to enjoy a very friendly local welcome before embarking on a gentle wander around this postcard-perfect little town. Think immaculately preserved, colourful clapboard houses, friendly locals, including this fisherman giving away free oysters, and a generous smattering of bronze statues. One Helen took quite a liking to. The US and Canada, they go really big on Halloween, don't they? Much, much bigger than in the UK. That's a sign I don't think I've seen that often. Please do not hang off or pull on skeletons, or they'll have a bone to pick with you. Eventually, hunger got the better of us, as it always does, and we made our way back to the waterfront in full view of the Emerald Princess for a culinary classic, a lobster roll and lobster poutine at a brilliant little discovery, the Chip Shack. So we're at the Chip Shack. We've ordered a lobster roll and fries and some lobster poutine. Helen can't stay away from the poutine. There you go, lobster roll and fries. That is a ton of poutine. Helen is reaching lobster poutine saturation point. LPSP. Is that a thing? Yes, lobster and gravy and cheese curds. Arteries beware, but taste buds rejoice. And we didn't finish there, because next door was the best ice cream on Prince Edward Island. Well, according to them anyway. And it was our duty, yes, duty, to go and verify if that was true. I've gone for Cookie Moonster with a chocolate cone. Look at that. What have you got there?
Maple syrup.
Oh, yes. Also, ice cream lovers, does anyone else, or is it just me, spend half their life pushing the ice cream into the cone with their tongue so that you get ice cream all the way down the cone? Anyone else do that? Or is it just me? Is it just me, Helen? With full bellies and only mild guilt, we browsed the fancy little boutiques that line the waterfront, the kind of shops where everything smells like sea salt, but costs more than your last utility bill. Fancy goods. Fancy. Fancy. Fancy? And then it was time to return to the port terminal for our afternoon shore excursion. Obviously no lunch on board was needed. A scenic trip to visit some of Prince Edward Island's iconic lighthouses. First stop, Point Prim. Built in 1845, Point Prim Lighthouse is the oldest on the island and stands a stately 60 feet or 18 metres tall. It's made of brick and is circular, one of only two so constructed in Canada. Oh, I didn't realise we could go up the lighthouse. That's cool, isn't it? Well, here we are, in the lighthouse. And looks like we can go all the way to the top. These are very, very steep. These stairs, very steep. You could go all the way up. It's getting very thin at the top here. Right, here we go. Final stretch to the top. Oh, gosh, they're so steep. It's like climbing a ladder. Even more difficult when you've only got one hand. Here we are, right at the top. Wow, look at that. Here she is. Right, what goes up must come down. Here's the bedroom. The sort of middle section. Tiny. Absolutely tiny. Imagine living here. Wow. Back aboard the coach, we continued eastward through more rolling farmland until we reached Wood Island's lighthouse, perched on the Northumberland Strait. Slightly shorter at 50 feet, it's been guiding fishing boats safely home since 1876, looking photogenic while doing so. Quite a sweet little house, really, isn't it? Hello, Joe. Oh, there was such a queue to get to the top of the lighthouse. We didn't on this occasion. Now here, they're supposed to sell the world's greatest cookies. There you go, that's a shot, isn't it? Got all three lighthouses in there. Our final stop took us even further east to Rossignol Estate Winery for a wine tasting. Oh yes, a civilised way to end any day, don't you think? Founded in 1995 by our charming guide, John Rossignol, it's the island's largest and oldest winery. Here they produce a wide variety of wines, from classic grape varieties to fruit wines made with local favourites like wild blueberries, apples, cranberries, blackberries and raspberries. It's basically a fruit basket in a bottle. It's the grapes. Oh my goodness. This is wine happening in action. This is live wine, people. And here I am drinking the actual fruits of these lovely people's labour right in front of them. It's a bit ostentatious, really, isn't it? It's proper artisan wine. None of this mass-produced stuff. Prince Edward Island's finest. With the sun beginning to dip, we headed back to the ship just in time to sail off towards Sydney. That evening, smooth jazz in the ocean bar and a delicious dinner in the main dining room. Perfect end to a perfectly light-housed, lobster-filled day. This is what this Canada and New England itinerary is all about, and it's brilliant. I don't know how they've done that, but that actually tastes of street waffle.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? That is, it's just lovely. Good morning. Today we are tendering, so we're not alongside, but we don't have a shore excursion until later on. So what we're going to do is go down to breakfast in the dining room. Going to get off and have a little wander around and then go on our excursion. So let's do this. Look at that. What a beautiful view. Oh my goodness, the choice. The choice. Do the egg test. Here it goes. Gonna pop like a. Ooh, that's good. Yeah. No. It needs to have a little bit of firmness around. And I've got my omelette here. My build your own omelette, which does look fabulous. So yeah, massive thumbs up. Here we are. Welcome, I bid you welcome. Welcome to Sydney. And there's more than us in today. And just for the record, again, it's not Sydney, Australia, but there is a connection. I will tell you about that in a little while. But first we're going to go and visit, well, the thing that this Sydney is most famous for. Yes, it's the world's largest fiddle, or is it a violin? I personally think that it can't be called the world's largest fiddle unless it's actually playable. Because anyone can build just a giant thing that looks like a thing, but it doesn't do the thing, can't they? Huh? Well, we have the world's largest ocean liner next to the world's largest thing that claims to be a fiddle, Helen. Isn't that good? Right, so Helen's got a map, and we're going to do this little walk here.
Which is the old Sydney walk.
Old Sydney.
And then there's a boardwalk. Could maybe just go that way, actually.
Yeah, that's
and
a
then
grand.
we can come along back here and then round that way, can't we?
That is a brilliant idea.
I'm full of them.
Well, apart from giant things that claim to be fiddles, what else is there to Sydney? Well, we'll give you a brief history. Founded in 1785, named after Thomas Townsend, 1st Viscount Sydney, who was also busy lending his name to the slightly more famous Sydney in Australia. So he actually named both places. Did you know that coal mining was a big deal in Sydney for quite a while? Apparently it powered the Industrial Revolution of Canada. There was even a time when Sydney had one of the largest steel mills in the world. Now what's it famous for? Fiddles and poutine. Welcome to downtown Sydney, where there's a gift shop and an old bank. We have found the city sign. And we're wandering down the boardwalk back to the tender because we've got a date with the dive-in for lunch. Look at that. Next up, for all you keto fans there, they have a bunless burger that's wrapped in lettuce, but it's got all the good stuff inside. You can just see the Queen Mary peeking out from Emerald Princess. Isn't that amazing? Love it. Let's enjoy this sail out, shall we? If I can keep the camera still enough. Cheers, honey.
Cheers.
Greetings from Morimoto at Sea, which is Holland America's new specialty dining experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's set in the Pinnacle Grill And we're going to have a lovely evening, I'm sure. Look at that. That looks great. Absolutely brilliant. Got my beef tenderloin here, with the mushroom sauce. Helen's got the beef teriyaki.
Chicken teriyaki.
Oh, chicken teriyaki, sorry. Got these sides. What one's that one?
That's yours, tempura and pok choy that goes with that.
Oh, the tempura bok choy. We've
This
got
is
wasabi
the
mash.
This is the stir-fried rice and pok choy.
And the bok choy. Look at that together. What
Not sure
a
what I'm
feast.
gonna do with it.
Look at, oh my goodness, look at that. That. Whoa. You are suffering from a food coma.
Big food coma.
That was so good. My chocolate thing is gone, apart from this lovely little sort of ganache bar here. I'm going to ask them whether I can take that back to my room and devour it at a later date. Morimoto, what a great idea. Thank you, Holland America Line.
Suffering from a severe but blissful food coma meant that we had to forego the show in favour of a little lie down. Good job too, though, for the next day was a very busy day. Good morning, everyone. Very early morning this morning. We've got an early excursion, haven't we? So we've ordered a few little bits and pieces. So we've got some nice fruit. Oh, that looks lovely, doesn't it? So what have you got under there, Helen? You didn't tell me what you ordered.
They're both fruit plates.
Oh, they're both fruit plates.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 fruit. Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have me one of them.
Just
Thanks
have
very
a
much.
bit of fruit before we go out.
Bit of fruit and coffee. Absolutely perfect. Well, there goes the chains. The anchor is being dropped. Good morning, everybody, from Halifax, Nova Scotia. You can see in the distance there, we're tendering today, and one of the tenders has just gone off. But we've got a 7.75 hour tour, I think. Lots of exploring. Yeah, good morning. We are the first here, because we pre-planned our escape route from the theatre. The Orange 8, there's our coach, look. Well, welcome to Lunenburg, which is a World Heritage Site. The whole town is a World Heritage Site. We got dropped off at the waterfront here, and it's really pretty. Helen's decided to sit with Captain Seymour Fogg. Look at him, he's a jolly fella. That's the Blue Nose 2. It's a racing schooner. Became a Canadian icon and is featured on the dime coin, which is the 5-cent coin. Founded in 1753 by German, Swiss and French Protestant settlers. It's part of the British plan to strengthen their control over Nova Scotia. There's a memorial here as well to all those seafarers that have lost their lives. I think one of the most colourful towns we've seen on our tour here. Founded in 1753, the town of Lunenburg is one of Canada's most charming historic settlements and was rightfully designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995. As we wandered through its picture-perfect streets, we stumbled upon St John's Anglican Church, affectionately known as the Lunenburg Cathedral. Established in the same year as the town itself, it holds the title of Canada's second oldest continuous Protestant church. Our uphill wander took us to Gallows Hill, cheery name, where we found the Lunenburg Academy. Completed in 1895, this grand 3-storey wooden schoolhouse is a local landmark and a National Historic Site of Canada. It's a textbook case of Second Empire style. To be honest, I don't know what Second Empire style is, but apparently this is it. Well, that was stop 1 of 3. What a charming, charming little place. Right, I think it's back to the coach. From there, we took the short and scenic coastal drive to Mahoney Bay, en route to Peggy's Cove. We stopped for a quick wander and a bit of refreshment. Now, I'll admit, I haven't done any homework on this place, but judging by first impressions, they don't bury their dead, they display them in their gardens. I'm joking, of course, I think. The town was charming enough, but absolutely riddled with bizarre scarecrows, casually propped up in gardens and on benches like extras from a low-budget horror film. Let's call it quaint with a hint of creepy. Despite all that, we still found somewhere really, really nice, and not creepy at all, for something to drink. Well, welcome to Mahoney Bay. Well, we're only here for like 40 minutes, so we've got to be quick. Well, every fall they have a annual scarecrow festival here. Locals really go to town on them. Afternoon, ladies. Look, there's Taylor Swift. I don't know who the bloke is. Got a funny jawline though. Can you tell which is the human and which is the scarecrow? Found this lovely little deli bakery. It's a long story, but we haven't got enough time here to have lobster rolls. We're going to wait until we get to the bay. We're so hungry at the moment. We're just going to grab something while we're here. Oh my, look at these. Oh my. Helen, look at the cookies. Oh. So we've got just half a bagel each because we're going to have a lobster roll in the bay, aren't we? Betty's Bay. That's sweet, isn't it? Look at that. Oh wow, that is delicious. Might as well give you a little bit of a rundown from the Visit With Us Almanac of Information, founded in 1754, the year after Lunenburg. It was settled by European Protestants like Lunenburg. It's famous for its 3 churches on the waterfront, possibly the most photographed set of buildings in Nova Scotia. They're so iconic, they're practically the town's version of celebrities. Did you know that Mahoney Bay was once home to actual government-approved pirates? Well, the only thing being plundered today is our wallets. I think that one wins for being the prettiest though, don't you? Especially with that awesome sky in the background. Welcome to Peggy's Cove. And the first thing we did is go to Tom's Lobster Shack and grab a lobster roll. But we are running very short time, which is very, very frustrating. It's so beautiful in this sunlight. Fortunately for us, the weather at Peggy's Cove was nothing short of sublime. Blue skies, feather-like clouds, and the kind of light that an iPhone's HDR setting was made for. Unfortunately for us, the wind was doing its level best to rehome our long-awaited lobster roll into a stranger's lap. And even more unfortunately, our tour was running fashionably late. If fashionable now means mildly chaotic with a side of panic eating. So instead of savouring every buttery, ocean-fresh bite of that glorious lobster roll, we basically inhaled it. No time for dreamy food shots, no chance to wander the impossibly pretty village, and barely a moment to spend in the gift shop. We had time for one thing only, so we made a beeline for Peggy's Point Lighthouse, tall, white, red-capped, and posing on its rocky pedestal like it's auditioning for a maritime fragrance commercial. Built in 1915, it still works as a navigation aid, though these days it's far more likely to appear on fridge magnets than a sailor's logbook. Despite the plentiful and very clear signs warning against it, we cautiously tiptoed across the granite boulders to get a closer look. The black rocks are notorious for being dangerously slippery, and with the Atlantic waves smashing below like they've got to fulfill a quota of tourist mishaps, this is not the place to test your sense of balance or your travel insurance. We didn't have long, just enough time to grab a few photos, soak in the salt air, and enjoy one of those rare moments where you forget about time, annoying seagulls, or the fact you'll be squashed in a coach seat for the next hour. It may have been brief, but Peggy's Cove left a delightful lighthouse-shaped imprint on our memory. Tonight was the night of the ship's legendary orange party. We pulled on our finest orange accessories. I needed sunglasses for Helen's blouse, and kicked things off with cocktails and jazz in the ever-smooth ocean bar. Dinner in the main dining room took a distinctly Dutch turn. I made a noble attempt to be as unadventurous as possible with the Caesar salad, but quickly succumbed to pea soup envy the moment I saw Helen's arrive. A viewer Helen did not share. For mains, Helen heroically ordered the Hotchpotch Klapstuk, partly for its culinary highlight, but mostly so she could hear me try to pronounce it on camera, while I played it safe with a delicious pork cordon bleu. Both were excellent and served with a side of pizzazz as the crew paraded proudly through the restaurant while twirling hopefully clean napkins. For dessert, Helen went fully Dutch with a tompoes, basically a custard slice with an orange hat, while I opted for a classic apple pie. Well, the Dutch were baking them way before our US friends adopted it as their own. With the night still young, we carried on the festivities with another fantastic set from Breton Thunder, the Nova Scotian Celtic band, who were fast becoming the unofficial soundtrack for this cruise. Next stop, the Rolling Stone Lounge for the official Orange Party, which featured high-energy dancing, questionable accessories, and a sea of fellow passengers dressed like they'd been caught in an explosion at a Dutch tulip market. Finally, we rounded off the evening at Billboard Onboard, making our first visit of the cruise, and immediately regretted not coming sooner. With the dueling piano set up down to a solo act, Pianist Tammy absolutely stole the show. Hilarious, high energy and masterfully entertaining, this was a brilliant end to a brilliantly busy and very orangey day. Well, Helen had pea soup last night on the Dutch menu in the dining room, and this morning, well, the whole ship has got pea soup. Well, good morning from, well, we're entering US territorial waters this morning, aren't we, Helen? And we've decided to treat ourselves to another dining room breakfast because they are so good, aren't they?
They are.
We remember them from the last ones, from the Zuiderdam and the Noordam. They were just so good. And then we aim to dock about 11, is that right? And we've got to go through the US immigration procedures, which is a bit of a pain and a bit time consuming. So we might have an afternoon wandering around Portland. We've got no excursions today booked. So we're just going to have a casual day, see how we get on, shall we? Yeah. Bon appetit. I don't know what I think about turkey sausages, whether they are delicious and healthy or an abomination of the sausage world. We've come back to the room and found the luggage, the dreaded luggage mat out on the bed. That can only mean one thing, can't it? Last day blues. But they've softened the blow a little with a little note saying, "Here's one of those lovely decorative tiles. This one's got all the Vista class ships on. Great little collectibles. One day we'll have enough to do the bathroom." Can you imagine how weird that would look? So here we are. Welcome to Portland in Maine. Just going for a wander, aren't we? Tell you what though, Helen, we didn't see any moose, which is quite disappointing. I'd love to have seen a moose on this trip. I think I saw a chocolate moose in the Lido marketplace, but it's not the same, is it? That's a proper American truck. More lobster, Helen, more lobster. They do love their lobster in Maine, don't they, honey? This is nice down here. Look, it is closed to vehicular traffic, honey. So we should be quite safe. Oh, Helen's gone in a shop. Oh, well, this is the first moose we've seen. Anyway, where's she gone? Oh my goodness. The first ever seaweed shop I've ever seen in my life. Oh, that is a big mural. Look at that, hon. Maine in the old... Oh, we all hark for the old days, don't we? Old days. Good times I remember. We're going back to the ship now because... well, we just like the ship. We're going to spend the last few hours, we want to enjoy the ship, don't we? You know when it gets like 3:30 and like you're a bit peckish and like there's a dive-in nearby? That. Good evening. We are in the ocean bar, but there's no jazz tonight. There's no jazz. And we've ordered a cocktail before realising there's no jazz. So what we're going to do is collect our drink. We're going to receive our drinks, aren't we? And then maybe creep very softly into the gallery bar, aren't we? Here we go. I left my phone in the bar. So without it, I wouldn't be able to do this flying shot. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Flying shot to our table. Oh, look at the table, Helen. It's gorgeous. In the corner there. That is lovely. Look at that. So lovely. Thank you. Though it was time to bid farewell to the good ship Zuiderdam, we still had one last adventure up our sleeves, Boston. With our flight home not until the next day, the city was ours for the wandering. Well, hello and welcome to Boston in Massachusetts. We just got off the Holland America Line Zuiderdam, the beautiful Zuiderdam, and we've got a full day here because we're flying back tomorrow. Today, which is a beautiful day, we're going to show you around Boston and see what it's like. So let's have 24 hours in Boston. Let's go and have a look at some of the sights and sounds of this beautiful city. Let's go. We based ourselves on Newbury Street, a charmingly civilised strip of boutiques, brown houses, and enough cafe options to confuse even the most decisive of caffeine addicts. After dropping our luggage at our charming little boutique hotel and momentarily contemplating a nap, we set off on foot. Within minutes, a particularly inviting cafe pulled us in because, frankly, our wills had been weakened over the last 7 days to the point of non-existence. So our first stop, recommended by a viewer, thank you very much, whoever that was, a Tate Bakery and Cafe. The pastry shop so posh it needs a glossary as to what it all means. That is heaven and hell all at once. Isn't it? Oh my, look at that. Oh, that looks lovely. Okay, so we're at the bakery and cafe, which we've ticked off at the bottom there. And this is a list of things that viewers have recommended we do in Boston, and we're going to try and work our way through it, mostly eateries. Come with us. We've already knocked one off, as you can see at the bottom there, and I'll tell you what, that was such a great recommendation. Absolutely superb food. Come around Boston with us. With pastries successfully consumed, we meandered towards the city centre, weaving through the glorious Boston Public Garden and the historic Boston Common. The Public Garden, for the uninitiated, isn't just any pretty park, it's America's very first public botanical garden. Established in 1837, back when exotic plants were all the rage and nobody had heard of Instagram. All visitors could do was wander amongst the flower beds and, well, look at them. Fancy that. Designed with Victorian flamboyance, it features elegant walkways and charming bridges that seem purpose-built for swan boats and marriage proposals. The gardens even feature what was once famously touted as the shortest suspension bridge in the world. Built in 1867, this dainty structure spans a whopping 40 feet, about 12 metres. It's not certified by Guinness or the International Federation of Tiny Bridges, if that's a thing, but it has long claimed the title in a kind of genteel New England way, by simply insisting on it and daring anyone to contradict. It doesn't need to be long, just needs to look good in selfies, which, quite frankly, it really does. Just across the road sat a piece of television history, the Cheers Bar, or more accurately, the outside of the Cheers Bar. This unassuming Georgian revival building from 1910 serves as the face of the much-loved sitcom, though the inside is now more a gift shop than gin palace. Still, it was delightfully nostalgic. Back in the Public Garden, we strolled into Boston Common, America's oldest public park. Originally a 17th century cow pasture, as all good things seem to be, it has evolved into a 50-acre patchwork of ponds, picnics and patriotic pride, a green lung in the heart of the city, and a perfect place for a stroll if you enjoy both revolutionary history and squirrels with attitude. From here we picked up the start of the Freedom Trail, a 2.5-mile red brick line that leads you past 16 significant landmarks from the American Revolution. First stop, the Massachusetts State House, proudly crowned with a golden dome that practically screams, "We mean business, but make it shiny." Naturally, we got sidetracked by cake. Our sugar fix took us to the Omni Parker House, the birthplace of the famous Boston cream pie, which is actually a cake, not a pie. Figure that one out. Well, you can tell where we are. We're at the hotel, and we've come in for the most famous thing, the Boston cream pie.
Wow.
At the place where it all began. Oh my, that is stupendously good. Stupendous. With our blood glucose levels spiked and our insulin arguing with our liver, we rejoined the trail at King's Chapel Burial Ground, a suitably atmospheric spot with tombstones so old they started leaning from sheer effort. Then it was onto the old City Hall and a mysterious placed bronze donkey. No explanation was offered and we'd done no research. Viewer, please explain the donkey. Thank you. Further along, we encountered the deeply moving Irish Famine Memorial. Features 2 bronze sculptures, one showing a starving Irish family in the grip of despair, and the other a hopeful immigrant family thriving in Boston, a powerful reminder of the human cost behind the headlines of history. Directly opposite stood the Old South Meeting House, where colonials once gathered to plot the Boston Tea Party, and nearby the Old State House, Boston's oldest surviving public building. It's all very Hamilton. Well, if Hamilton were performed by squirrels and the occasional tour guide in colonial garb. And just across the road, we reached Faneuil Hall. I think that's how you pronounce it. The Cradle of Liberty, where Samuel Adams and friends once gave rousing speeches that would eventually lead to revolution. Nowadays, it's flanked by Quincy Market, a massive 19th century structure, complete with copper dome and Doric columns. Once a bustling produce market, it now deals in clam chowder and souvenir t-shirts. We wandered off trail again, our superpower really, and stumbled across the oldest restaurant and pub in the city, because why not have a pint where Paul Revere might have grumbled about his saddle? Not far away stands the haunting New England Holocaust Memorial, 6 towering glass columns etched with prisoner numbers and rising steam serving as a chilling, powerful tribute. You can't simply walk past it. It freezes you in your tracks. Eventually, we reached the Paul Revere House, Boston's oldest building and home to the Midnight Rider himself. Modest, wooden and still standing since 1680, it's the architectural equivalent of one of the birthplaces of modern America. Now, we're still following the Freedom Trail. We're now going into the North End. At this point, our feet declared independence from our legs, so we wandered down to the Boston Harbour Walk, a fraction of the 75-kilometre waterfront boardwalk that snakes around the city. Hello, hello. We've just stopped along the Harbour Walk just for a little rest because we've hit 6k, I think, at the moment. Well, let's just enjoy the tranquility of summer on the Boston Harbour Walk. So is this like Boston's hop on, hop off? I think it is, isn't it? Old Town Trolley Tour. So if you don't want to do what we've done, which is walk all the way around, you can always get on one of these and get a running commentary and just go around the streets of Boston. That is the biggest American flag we've seen yet. Just for context, here's a human, here's the flag. So we have ended up at the James Cook lobster place.
Hook.
James Hook.
You said
Not
Cook.
James Cook. You go inside, they're all in the tanks. Another thing for our list, lobster roll. That is a big lobster roll. Tell you what though, the lobster is delicious, isn't it?
Nice.
With 15,000 steps on the clock and one very well-earned sit-down beckoning, we retraced our path through the Common, back along Newbury Street and finally to our hotel. It was time to sleep off Boston and say goodbye to New England with memories, photos and mild regret we didn't get to buy cannoli from Mike's Pastry, another legend of Boston on our viewer-suggested list. We just couldn't face eating another thing. Boston was the perfect finale to this Canada and New England adventure. A city-sized cherry on top of an already delicious cruise cake. We'd dreamed of this itinerary for years, and while we arrived just a tad too early for the full fiery explosion of fall foliage, it honestly didn't matter one bit. From charming ports to lobster rolls, lighthouses to jazz-filled evenings, this voyage ticked every box and then some. We'd do it all again in a heartbeat. Next time, perhaps with a bit more time at Peggy's Cove and a suitcase suspiciously heavy with cannoli from Mike's Pastry. If you're craving more Holland America Line inspiration, don't go far. Check out our voyages through fabulous New Zealand aboard MS Zuiderdam and a classic Alaskan adventure on MS Zuiderdam. Thanks so much for watching.